All right, what's up, everybody? I hope everybody had a good work week. Once again, I'm at work. It's Friday. I'm at work, taking my break in my Jeep here, and I thought I'd take this time to make the little intro after the main intro to explain what I was talking about in my last video, with the interesting history between me and the OBT. The OBT was my first tarantula that I ever owned, and it was back in 2009 or 2010. I seen an ad on Craigslist for a tarantula that was for sale or trade. So I messaged the guy and decided I want a tarantula, So I met up with the guy. I can't remember what I even traded it for, but he ended up pulling out a cylindrical container with an orange tarantula inside. So I'm like, at that time, the only tarantula I ever heard of was a rose hair, pretty much a brown tarantula. That's what I thought I was going to meet up to get. And he explained it was an OBT. So I'd never heard of an OBT. I guess OBTs are orange tarantulas. So cool. So I think I asked the guy some basic husbandry. What do I feed it? Stuff like that. And he said, give it a cricket once a week. Now, this was already about this size, about 3 inches, pretty big, full of color. And he pretty much told me, cricket once a week, don't need water. It will get the moisture from the cricket. So that sounded pretty easy to me. So I ended up taking this thing home. And again, like I said, my knowledge of this thing of tarantulas was only rose hairs. So my thought was, I have a bright orange rose hair, basically. You know what I mean? The guy didn't give me any kind of warnings, nothing like that about the temperament. And I didn't ask. I didn't think there was an issue. So I took it home, get my family around. I want to show everybody my brand new orange tarantula, So I opened the top of the container, take a pencil, try to poke the tarantula to get it to move a little bit so they can see it. And of course, it jumped out the container, onto the kitchen floor, and under the table. And everybody freaked out. I even freaked out. Now, luckily, I've had experience with reptiles before. I've dealt with Amazon tree boas and snakes that are pretty fast. So it wasn't hard for me to get a cup it, and get it back in. And the tarantula was safe. Nobody got bit. But I realized really quickly that I had made a big mistake. And for the first time, I think even back in 2009, I wasn't really using Google or YouTube as a form of reference to look things up. But at this time, I actually did. I went online and I checked the OBT and seen what it was all about. And yeah, I had made a mistake. Luckily, nobody got bit, nobody got hurt. And did my research. And I think a short time after that, I got rid of that OBT. Nobody in the house wanted it in the house, so I ended up getting rid of it. And a few years later, I got a few more, and learned how to take care of them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much my history with the OBT. I think it's a pretty interesting one. It was my first tarantula. I wouldn't recommend anybody getting this for their first tarantula, unless you're somebody who's really used to dealing with fast animals like snakes and stuff like that. Then I think you know how to be smart and do things the right way, So I don't want to talk too much. Let's get straight into the rehouse. All right, so for this rehouse, I'm going to be using 2 Sterilite tubs, 2.5 quarts. I got a piece of tape there that I use to make my line before I start poking the holes. Usually when I poke the holes, I'm using this little ghetto makeshift tool that I made out of a corn cob poker. Pop one of the needles off and use that to poke my holes. You can see it comes out nice and straight when using the tape. I also like how they both stack together and they both lock. So normally what I do is I'll take the sticker off the side of whichever container I buy, and I'll put it on the bottom in case I want to buy another one and Walmart don't have it. I know what to look for if I want to order something from Amazon. Okay, so both of these containers are ready. You might notice I had to go back and drill some more holes. I feel like I might need just a little more air. And plus some of the holes that I did when I poked it, they filled back in. So I got my drill and actually went through each hole, reamed it out, and made a new row of holes down here on both of these containers. I also put a little, just a little tag here. I don't have a printer, so just a little something to write down what it is, when I got it, what size it was when I got it, the person I got it from. In this case, I got it from somebody at a reptile expo. So I got that information on there too, just in case somebody asks. I have it on hand. Also, if you notice, I pretty much, what I did with the dirt here, I put more dirt in one and less dirt in the other. I'm just curious to see what they do. Just a little experiment. I know that each of these tarantulas, there's one in there that likes to burrow, and there's one that always seems to stay up top. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do once I put them in here in a few months, to come back and look and see what they did, how they webbed up the place and how they made their little home. So in all the months I had these tarantulas, I never got a view like what I'm getting right now. This guy's right in the very top, out in the open. Wonder what he's doing. Let's see if I can get him a little better without him running. He's probably gonna run. Let me see if I can get it straighter. Oh, there he goes. I guess that's pretty good too. So you can see their size. This one here is actually the one that's always out. He chose to do this weird kind of funnel thing with the web. I don't know if you can see it. This is the one that decided to stay up top. So I'm gonna put him in this one here. Since he likes staying above ground anyway. I want to see what kind of elaborate web he makes on this side. Then the other one that always stays under the ground, same thing. I gave him more substrate. And on the inside here, like I said I was going to do, I put a couple ferns, piece of cork bark, just to see what they do. Same thing with this one here. So this one here, I gave a little more of the fern. I'm just kind of curious to see which side they're going to take, whether to go to the cork bark or go to the foliage to make their little hideouts or whatever. So I'm going to get these guys in here. In order for me to rehouse these guys, I got to get the top off this thing, and their web is attached to the top there, you can see. So what I planned on doing was just getting in here with a piece of cardboard and getting in between the lid and the webbing and kind of break that webbing, which I just did. I think I just did. Okay, so now that it's loose, I can get the lid off. And when I rehouse these guys, I'm not going to rehouse these guys in a way where I got to go in there and get these things out. My plan is just to get the lid off, put it inside the container, and let it come out on its own. Let's put this off to the side. Get the lid off. Set this little thing down in. And I guess very quickly and cautiously, because I don't think it's going to run. It's in its hiding space, so we'll get the lid off of this here. And put the lid on. And wait for morning and see, hopefully it came out, and see where it went and get this container out of here. All right, so after the 4th day, this one here, number 1, OBT number 1, finally came out and pretty much set up shop right down in there. I'm assuming he's in there. I don't see him up in here. So I tried peeking in there with a flashlight, but I couldn't see anything. But judging by the way it looks and the little mound that's there and the webbing on top, I'm assuming he's down in there. So I'm gonna take the old enclosure out. And here we have OBT number 2. You can kind of see here, he set up shop. Every time I come here and see him, he's above ground. But once he got spooked, he went inside his tunnel there. And it's kind of cool because if you look inside, I'm going to open this thing up and take a look real quick. If you look inside there, well, from this side, you can see he has this tunnel. Pretty much right there. Then he has his escape route right at the other end of this cork bark. He also has a spot on the other side that he has webbed up too here, so I don't think they connect to each other anyway, but it's possible at some point he might connect the two. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So OBT number 1, this one here on this side, he didn't come out for a few days, so I went in there and kind of disturbed him. I took the container from the other old one, put it on top, and I got a stick and went in there and kind of moved it around and disturbed him and got him a little shook up. And then I put it back inside, and today I come from work and there he is. So got him to come out, and just like that, overnight, this guy pretty much got himself a little mound there. I call it a mound. They try to be camouflaged, but you can see where he is. Right there by the tree, or the fern. So pretty cool. So I'll give it a few more days, let him set up shop a little better, let him get settled in, and I'll start getting some feeding clips.